Members of the Bar Association came out in solidarity with their colleague attorney at law, Tamika Clark, who was wrongfully arrested by police officers attached to the Special Organized Crime Unit SOCU last Friday. Clark was arrested for advising her client to remain silent during questioning, a right guaranteed by the Constitution. Today, lawyers in their robes and with placards posited that the action of the police threatened democracy. Some were appalled that no apology or statement was issued by the police in the matter. President of the Bar Association, Pauline Chase, said the association is not satisfied with the police's action in the matter so far.
It's been a week and we have not had any positive movement. We issued a statement on the same day calling for a number of actions to be taken, and we haven't seen movement in that. So we were forced to come out here. It's an unusual step. I know probably in your lifetime you've never seen attorneys out on the road in their robes. Our records only reflected that this happened probably in 1979. I don't know of any other time that this happened. So I think this in itself should send a strong message as to how serious we are. And I'd like to make the point that this is not a lawyer issue. Yes, you see lawyers out here, but this is a wider issue. This is a rule of law issue. It is a fundamental right issue. The right to counsel and the right to remain silent are ingrained. They're non-negotiable rights, and it affects us all.
Other lawyers described the arrest as disgraceful, an attack on democracy, and others called for the rule of law to be respected and questioned what happens to persons when no one is present.
A constable threatening an attorney at law is disgraceful. But I want to say this. You can imagine what may go on behind the closed doors in the evening when an attorney at law or no members of the public is there. If something like this could happen to an attorney at law, imagine what could happen behind closed doors. I make this point because it is for the police, it is for the authorities to be able to bring some sanity and to ensure that the members of the public would believe that everything goes on right.
The system works on a presumption that both sides work together. It doesn't work on the presumption that one side does not work or does what it wants. So the system, to be successful, must continue to work in that way. I mean, some of us know of a time when there was a harmonious relationship between the bar and the police. And we would wish that time to return.
It's not very long to investigate that, because all you need to know who are the persons who passed the order in relation to the arrest and who is the arresting rank. And that's the end of it. The Bar Association, which we support, has called for charges in relation to criminal charges, but I believe heavily so. They are issues as it pertains to tort, false imprisonment, unlawful detention. And then there's issues in relation to the Constitution, the man's right to be legally represented, because, of course, if counsel was arrested, there would have been a period of time where the man was not having the support or having the advice of counsel, as she was held in a different room. So it breaches that, it breaches his right to remain silent, which are matters to be dealt with at a judicial review proceedings or at the Constitutional Court. So it really does not require this long time in which they are taking to investigate this matter, because there's nothing magical about what has happened. What has happened is very straight facts.
That there are policemen who understand their roles and who understand the roles of counsels. And so there are these, if you could call them maverick, they're branching off from the norm and doing their own thing. What I want to point out also is using the logic of the very rank that arrested my colleague, that she is obstructing the course of justice. It is part of the justice system for a person to remain silent if such a person is accused. And I'm taking this as a window of opportunity to tell persons that if you're accused of an offense, you don't have to give a statement. because it is not your duty to prove your innocence. It is the duty of the prosecution or those who are accusing you to prove that you are guilty, and therefore you can say nothing. Right up to the day of the court hearing, you can remain silent.
Attorney at Law Clark was overwhelmed by the outpouring of support from her colleagues, and she said she was interviewed as part of the investigations, but she is not satisfied.
I would have expected by now that the Commissioner of Police would have issued a statement at least acknowledging certain basic principles such that a counsel has the right to instruct the attorney to remain silent, and we have not heard any word, at least I have not heard any word to date from the Commissioner of Police. It's appalling that the police who investigates matters do not know what a suspect is. If you arrest someone, you had search warrants for their home. You release them, you have them getting reporting conditions. You tell them when to come back, when to do this, and that person's not a suspect. So if the police don't know what a suspect is, then where are we as a society?
Clark will file legal action against the police. Meanwhile, the police are reporting that the Office of Professional Responsibility probe was completed and the file was sent to the DPP for legal advice.